I'm going to ask Anna to come back and tell us a little bit about what's happening with Sydney Vital. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, David. Well, I won't take up too much of everyone's time this afternoon because you've had a lot of talks to listen to already. So I recently joined Sydney Vital as the Research Development Manager, but it's my pleasure to go back a few years and just highlight some of the successes that have come out of that time. And so, as we've mentioned, Sydney Vital is a translational cancer research centre, one of 7 established by the Cancer Institute in New South Wales. And while many of our members are situated here at the Colin Building and also at the Royal North Shore Hospital, we're fortunate to have members from right across northern Sydney and even further afield. And it's fantastic to have many of them represented today in our speakers and also many of our attendees. Now, Sydney Vital's membership has been growing steadily since its inception in 2014, and I'm glad to say we have over 500 members now, coming across many research and medical institutes. Now, our key focus is enabling the translation of research, both from basic research towards clinical research, and then from clinical research into patient outcomes. And as a basic scientist myself, I'm a medicinal chemist, so it's really inspiring to see these outcomes that we've heard today with real impact. Now, to facilitate these research translations, we're really focused on 4 key aims. Now, that's capacity building within research groups and staffing, the development of infrastructure and facilities, as we've just heard about now, a lot of commitment to training and development for ECRs, early career researchers and PhD students, and finally reaching further afield to disseminate these research outcomes to the community and to primary healthcare providers. So over the past 6.5 years, Sydney Vital has been able to award almost $5 million to different aspects of these research enablers. So if I can go through a few of them briefly. So spearheading the research program are the 3 flagships, and we were able to hear key outcomes of our 3 current flagship fellows in the first session. Now these flagship fellows each have 1 year as a full-time fellow to lead a research project, and Sydney Vital also has a contribution to the flagship academic lead. So many of our former flagship fellows have since gone on to lead independent careers where they are able to continue the research that they began with Sydney Vital, and some of them I'm glad to see here today. And we also have fellows going on to become senior researchers or consultants. Now, I think the high quality of the research that comes out of the flagships is evidenced by the external funding that they've been able to attract. So we can see that the combined funding from the 3 flagships is more than 2-fold what was put in by Sydney Vital, and these external sources include various competitive granting schemes, industry, and also philanthropic donations. Now, in addition to our flagship projects, Sydney Vital is also able to fund lots of separate smaller seed funding projects, with 32 projects funded in total, and we heard 3 great examples of those today. And these typically go to small projects with a high capacity to leverage future funding. Now, beyond our fellowship opportunities through the flagships, we're also able to provide many opportunities for PhD students and also early career researchers. Now, key among these are the PhD scholarships that we offer to our 7 translational centres of excellence, and each of these is focused on a different area of cancer. And again, we were able to hear some really nice highlights of this research in the morning session. Now, we also have PhD scholarship top-ups and travel awards for PhD and early career researchers, and 25 of these awards have disseminated, allowing our researchers to visit conferences all across the world. And it's really encouraging to see that many of these initiatives correlate with steady increases in enrolments and completions of PhDs from Category 1 supervisors. Now, finally, we've just heard about several of the ways that Sydney Vital is able to contribute to infrastructure operation. Specifically the tumour bank and SARP, And I'd also just like to touch upon the surgical pathology group, where we're able to support the salary of a senior academic pathologist. And there's some really exciting results coming out of this group. And then lastly, in addition to supporting the research itself, something that we try to do is to engage further with members of the community, with patients, and also with primary healthcare providers such as GPs. And this is typically done through a series of in-person events, which have been held steadily in various formats, but of course we've had to put a halt to during 2020. So I hope, like many other things, we'll see a return to this within next year. But we have been able to continue to connect with the public through social media, through our webpage, and also through a series of podcasts which can be found on the website. Now, finally, today I've only been able to touch upon a few of the exciting successes that have come out of the last few years, but I would like to bring your attention to our Vital Highlights book, which Dale mentioned this morning, and the QR code of this can be found on your name badges, and this covers in much more detail many of the exciting things that have come out of the last 6.5 years. I thank you all for joining us today, for presenting and taking the time to listen.